now we have seen till now we have seen different phases of software development life cycle. How project is going to start. We have seen requirements gathering phase, and then we have seen analysis phase, design, coding. Now we are going to see testing. So when you will start testing, actually, once the development team has completed and build is deployed on the environment, and they will inform. So code is ready for testing, and then maybe you will get a mail. You will get a mail and you will get informed in the meeting or somewhere. Okay, code is ready. You can call, right? You can so once you get that, by the time you would have finished your verification task. What are the verification tasks? Read and understand the requirements and design the test cases. Once you written the test cases, before you get the build, so by the time you should finish your verification activities, designing the test cases must be completed. Review of the test case also must be completed before you get the build.
Hello.
Yeah. So that is the verification activities. Once you are done, those activities, now your actual validation starts now. When your validation starts, once you get the build ready for testing, then your validation activity starts. So what is your verification validation activity? So you will first do a smoke testing. When you get a build first time, you will just check, okay, build is stable. Is it testable or not? You will check. Are there any blocker bugs? Are there any showstopper bugs in the application? You will do very basic functionality is working or not. You will check as part of the smoke testing. So what is smoke testing? All these terminology is very important. So what is smoke testing? Smoke testing also called build verification testing. You will check whether the application or build is stable or not. Is the build testable or not? Or whether the application doesn't have any blocker or showstopper bugs. Before conducting a detailed testing. Detailed testing means all the test cases you will execute. For example, you have written 100 test cases. As part of smoke testing, you will execute only 10 or 5 test cases. Very basic functionality. So that is called smoke testing. When you get a build first time, what testing you will perform? Smoke testing. To check the build stability. The build is stable or not for testing. You will check as part of smoke testing. So once it is stable, or it is not stable, you will raise the defect, send an email to all the team, development team, QA, and your manager, everybody you mentioned, all your stakeholders of the project. So I'm blocked with this. I cannot continue with this. So because of this bug, so please fix it and send me back with a correct code. So that's you have to do immediately. Once, okay, everything is good and your so no blockers are available, you can start a detailed testing. That means one by one test case, you will execute 100 test case, you have to execute. One day you cannot finish. Maybe it will take 3-4 days or 5 days first time. First time when you execute, it might take more time because manually you have to do, right? All the test case execution in one day, you cannot finish 100 test cases. That's why you will schedule that. You will give a tentative dates when the start date, when the end date will be there. That's the test plan part. So you don't need to worry about that. That they will give time. Okay, they will give time for testing. So that one by one test case you will execute on the given build. Build is nothing but a collection of software code which is deployed on a particular environment. So the environments, different environments will be there. Development environment, testing environment, staging, testing only, the people will call staging environment, pre-prod, before production, pre-live, we call that, and production environment. So these are different environments will be there. So that you will execute one by one. If any test case passes, you will change the status to pass in the Excel sheet or in the tools. Your test cases, wherever you have written, there you will mark pass. There is option status column, you will pass. If any test case fails, you will mark that test case as a fail and immediately you are going to report the defect in the defect reporting tool. So what is a defect reporting tool? To report the defects, it will be used for a tracking all your test cases, defects. You will use a defect tracking tools. Nowadays, the people use project tracking tools. That is Jira, ALM, Rally, different tools are available. So we can use any one of them. We can use any one of them. So I'll show you Jira and ALM also. I'll just show you very high level. I took, so but I cannot record. I'll show you that because I recorded from my company, the ALM, but I'll show you that, how it works. So these are the different tools you can use to report the defect. When you will report a defect? When the test case fails. So test case is nothing but a requirement. So requirement, you are in detail, you are writing different ways how you can test your writing in as part of test cases. So that you will report the defect in the defect tracking tool. What are the different defect tracking tools? So ALM, Bugzilla, Jira, Rally, any of these. Okay. Those are the defect tracking tools. So you will report the defect whenever a test case fails. Whenever you feel a particular functionality is not working, you will report the defect. So then you will send, at the end of the day, you will send a summary, right? Test summary report. How many test cases you executed, how many defects you found, in that critical defects any are there, or minor bugs any, you will just send a mail to all the team members. That's a test summary report. At the end of the day, you have to prepare and send in mail. That's a mandatory. So otherwise, where you are, how do we know? Right? So you should not wait till all the test cases execution. Every day report you send. So that and same mail chain you continue. So that once the defects are raised and you are continuing testing, meanwhile, there is a one meeting will happen, bug triage meeting. That means whatever the defects or bugs you reported, they will be discussed. Each defect, they will discuss whether it is a valid or invalid. So they need to check, right? You will explain, okay, this is my expectation as per the requirement document. Currently application is giving this output. So you will tell, okay, this is the defect. Then developer will check that. So whether it is a valid issue or is it a data issue or what is the reason for that, he will analyze. And based on that, if it is valid, and that will be assigned to the developer. It will go to a developer bucket. You don't need to worry. So you will start working on that. So that like that, all the defects will be analyzed in that meeting. That is called bug triage meeting or defect triage meeting. Then the developer will fix the defects and he will deploy the corrected code into the same environment. He will inform, okay, I fixed this so and so bugs. Please verify. Please retest it. And he will send the mail back. So what defects he fixed, and he will send the mail back to you. So the mail chain will keep going like that until all the bugs are fixed. Okay. Now, once the developer fixes the bugs and he deployed the code into environment, then you need to perform retesting. See that, retesting. That means you already tested first time that test case, it was failed. Now the developer corrected that defect. Now he is asking, okay, retest that test case one more time. I fixed it. Now that is called retesting. That means already tested one, the developer corrected it, and you are retesting it, whether it is working or not, after the fix done by the development team. Only failed test case only will retest here, not all the test cases. Sir, still my test case are not completed. Still I need to test one more. Yes, you can test. That doesn't take much time, right? You already tested once. You know the flow. So retest it immediately and close it. If it is working, close that bug. If it is not working, you can say, okay, it is not working. I'm reopening this defect and I'm assigning back to a developer. That is what you will take a decision in the retesting. So what is retesting? You are confirming whether the failed test case is working properly or not after the fix done by the development team. If it is working, you will close that defect. If it is not working, you will reopen the defect and assign to the same developer. So that's the thing you will do in the retesting. Retesting will be done only on the failed test cases after the correction done by the development team. So that's the retesting. So verifying all the fixed bugs is called bug fix verification. Also we call that. Then, so you executed all the test cases. So maybe 100 test cases you completed and some bugs also you verified. So done. One round of testing is done. Now you found 10 bugs. So all the 10 bugs, the development team fixed them and given to you and you tested them. And your testing is completed. Now, but when you tested again, the developer is modifying the code, so you are working on the testing, but developer is modifying the code. Even though that is not in the same environment, so he modified. He is modifying the same code. That might affect, right? He is changing in one area. It might affect in another area. There are chances, right? that chances are more. How can you ensure it is working as expected, the unchanged portion? Maybe developer modified here, okay? So the developer modified one area. So in this area, he modified. So as part of his defect, so he modified in this area. Maybe in this area only he modified. There might be changes, right? In this area, he didn't change it, but there might be a connection. So there will be a connection between them, right? So it might be a relation to this area and this area. So, but even though he didn't modify here and here and here, but he modified here, it might break in this area. It might break in this area. We don't know. Then how you can ensure if you test one more time, right? That is called regression testing. So one round of testing after, bug fix verification after, then you will do a regression testing. So regression testing is nothing but after completing one round of testing, first iteration is done. A second iteration time, so they will ask do one more round of testing. So the regression testing is to ensure that there are no new bugs introduced in unchanged area of the application. Unchanged area of the application due to some modifications in this application code. That modification should not break unchanged areas in these areas. So that is called regression testing. Suppose you found a bug here again. In this area, you got a bug, or you got a bug here, right? You got a bug there. So if you get a bug there, maybe you got a bug here. So this is the bug, you got it. This is called, before it was working, but now you got a bug in your regression testing. This is called regression bug. That means the developer introduced this. When you test first time, it was working. But when you are testing a second iteration, you got a new bug here. First iteration, it was working. First iteration, this was working. In the iteration 2, so you got a bug in this area. That is called regression bug. Then that is a developer mistake. So developer introduced a new bug again. Then you can clearly say that. So my previous test case passed here in this area. Now we got a new bug. That is called regression bug. After the bug fixes, and if he introduces a new bug in the unchanged areas, that bug is called regression bug. So what is a regression testing? Regression testing means you're ensuring that there are no new bugs introduced in unchanged areas of the application. If you introduce a new bug in unchanged areas of the application, that is called a regression bug. The existing functionality should work as expected. If it is not working, that is a regression bug. So that is the difference between retesting and regression testing. Retesting, you will test only failed test case. Regression testing, you will test all the test cases one more time. Both passed and failed test cases, you will test it. That is called, so, regression testing. Once this testing is done, or they fixed all the bugs, then you can give a sign off. Finally, from your side, sign off is mandatory. Sign off means you are certifying that no bugs are present in the application, all functionality is working fine. You are giving a sign off for them, and they can, once you provide the sign off, then the code will be deployed to different environment So again, DevOps team will take that code and they will deploy in the different environments. So it will go till production environment. If it is tested in different environments. So that is so this how development process, software development lifecycle will be taken care. Who are all involved and what are all each stage, who will perform what task. This will be a clear picture. Any questions? No questions?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the deployment will happen. So they will take care of all this. So deployment and maintenance will be done. So from that, you can understand the testing process. As I mentioned very clearly, from the beginning to till the end, as a tester, what you did. Those things will be called a software testing lifecycle. Development lifecycle, there are many people involved. Product owner, architect, technical leads, programmers, managers, testing team, DevOps team, SRE team, all the members will be there in the software development lifecycle. But in the testing process, only testing team will be in. The testing team, what they will do? They will understand the requirements, first responsibility. And then second responsibility, they will design the test cases based on the requirements and layouts, screen layouts. Third, they will ask to review the written test cases by some other person, either product owner or your colleague or your manager. Once you review, is done, keep it like that. Then once you get a build, first you will perform the smoke testing. If no issues are there, you will continue your further detailed testing. If you get issues, you will report the defect in the defect tracking tool and send a mail to all the team members, development team, everybody, all the stakeholders of the project. Then you will start your execution. One by one test case you will execute. And you will mark each test case pass or fail. Fail means there must be a defect. Where you will raise the defect to? In the Jira tool or ALM tool or Rally tool, any one tool you will use to report the defects. Even you can write the test case in the ALM and Rally and even Jira also. You can write the test case there itself. Each test case you will map what is the defect. Failed test case, you will give the defect number. If you report the defect, the tools will generate automatic number, defect number. That number you will use as a reference. For a tracking purpose, the numbers will help. So once you raise the defects and they will fix the defects and you will retest them. Once retesting is done, so all the defects you will verify. Then you will perform one round of regression testing. First round, normal execution. All the first time functionality execution you will check. Second time you will do one more round of testing, that is regression testing. Once a regression testing, you didn't find any bugs, then you will give a sign off. Then the developer and he will work with the DevOps team and he will move the code from your whatever the environment you used for testing, from that environment to upper environments. He will migrate the code to different environments. And maybe you need to test in other environments also, if required. So there will be chances you need to test multiple environments. So that's the entire testing process and development process. And so as I mentioned, a testing process, you will have a requirements gathering that they will do, and you will plan. Test plan is the another one that will be there in the middle. Then test case design will be there. Then once your reviews will be there here. And once the reviews are done, once you get the build, first you will perform the smoke testing, and then you will execute your test case one by one. Then you will report any defects are there. Then you will perform the retesting and regression testing. Then if automation is there, automation also will be done here. Then test reports you have to share. So this is the entire testing life cycle. So testing life cycle is nothing but from beginning of the testing process activity till the sign off. What are all the activities you will perform? Those activities are called testing process or software testing lifecycle. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So we covered SDLC and STLC. Software testing lifecycle we covered. Software development lifecycle we covered. Any questions?
No.
The same, whatever I explained in the SDLC, the same testing process. So that's what I explained here. Okay. So I'll stop here.